What's up, Ryan? What's up, man? Long time no see.
Yeah, back from the cow pastures and snake-driven fields of Texas from work last week.
Texas.
Lots of blue and orange out there, though, for sure. Not Florida Gator blue and orange. Astros blue and orange.
Oh, I was like, wait.
Yeah, not that blue and orange.
You're jumping right in already talking about blue and orange.
But yes, speaking of blue and orange, welcome to episode 107 of the Matt Ryan Show.
It's like every time we do another episode, I realize, holy crap, we've been doing this for a little while.
Yeah, pretty much.
7.
But big one in Death Valley this week, Ryan. Top 10 matchup between LSU and Florida for the 5th time, believe it or not, between the two schools under Miles.
So 2 top 10?
Top 10. They've both
matchup?
been ranked in the top 10.
Wow.
Now it'll be 5 out of 11 under Miles.
Damn.
Crazy to think.
That says a lot about both the programs. It really does.
Absolutely. LSU also only 1-3 in those previous 4 games, but Miles only lost once at home to Florida. So
True.
Home team usually wins that series, but each year is a new ballgame for sure.
I mean, you got to think two of those matchups were, or 3 of those matchups, if I'm not mistaken, were against Tim Tebow.
Yeah, actually,
3 matchups against
06,
Tim Tebow.
07, and 09 were.
06, 07, and 08.
No, 09.
Why not 08?
We weren't ranked in the top 10.
Oh, okay. True.
Yeah, we like to forget that defense. Although that guy's still our special teams coach, and
it's showing.
Yeah, they need work.
But start from the top.
Start from the top.
Tigers look good the past couple weeks. A couple tweaks were made between the Eastern Michigan game and last weekend's South Carolina matchup. And did we actually see LSU open the playbook?
I think we did, right?
I think the answer to that question is a resounding yes.
The crazy thing is we got 620 yards of offense. It didn't even really feel like it until looking at the stat book out.
It really didn't. You know, you take away Fournette's 87-yarder, and you're still looking at 600 yards. It was almost 7, right? If I'm not mistaken.
I think it was like 620.
Okay, I'm thinking it was 694. But
only what, 540?
No. Take away one play, we still put up 500, 540, 550 yards of total offense. Mm-hmm. That'll win you football games week in and week out in the SEC.
Absolutely. And Ryan, another thing we saw is what we've been looking for. We saw balance. We threw the ball. We threw it pretty efficient. Harris started slow, but boy, the second half he was on fire. He really got in a rhythm.
And I think it started with the end. It was at the end of the first half.
Yeah, because
the whole marched down the field.
Yeah, because the whole second quarter he was really off. He was missing targets. But that last drive towards the end of the second half, I think it really got him going. And then that nice touchdown to Dupree.
That offense that we saw at the end of the first half was Harris's natural play. Mm-hmm. The hurry up, run out the pistol, 3-4 wide. That's what he played in high school. It was a very similar to Baylor. Baylor style offense where we're going to run the spread and we're going to force you to spread the defense out and beat you one-on-one. And look at what it did. And it showed up again in the second half. Of course, we slowed the game down a little bit. Fournette broke the early 87-yarder. Geis looked fantastic in relief. And, we finally saw what we've been waiting to see out of the LSU offense. We knew what we had in the backfield. We knew what we had out wide, but could we use them? And the answer is finally yes.
Even more so, what was interesting to see, Ryan, was that LSU ran out of the shotgun. I don't know if we were forced to, but I'm glad we were able to be effective with it because we may have to this week with the loss of John David Moore. At first, it was reported ACL, and maybe not be as bad, but he's definitely out for Florida, that's for sure.
Okay, see, I was under the impression that it was ACL and he's out for the season.
That's what I heard, but I was reading actually earlier today. Maybe not now. You never know these reports that come out early. Right. This premature journalism is so terrible these days.
Yeah, it really is. It's ridiculous. They go off of rumors, not facts, and you just they take it and run with it.
I think the phrase he says is Twitter meter.
Yeah. Yeah, pretty much.
But the show in Newsroom did an episode about that, pretty much. What we're talking about that.
And that's what it resorts to.
Yeah.
Excuse me. Ooh, about the sneeze.
Okay. Okay. But with that said, Ryan, another crazy thing going into the game is
Greer.
Well, yeah, Florida will be out there quarterback, but with a guy that has played against LSU before too. Trayon Harris. He played last year in the game along with Jeff Driscoll.
After we put Driscoll out of the game because he was terrible, which we already knew.
But Harris, he had a little bit of success against LSU, but it's a little bit of a different style. He's a way better runner than Greer, which Florida's been more of a passing team this year. They haven't really run the ball that well. They've been throwing it well. Trayon Harris, almost sort of the complete opposite now. In the first game of the year, him and Greer both kind of threw it a lot, and I think that's what Jim McElwain wants to do, and that's the offense he ran with Garrett Grayson at
Absolutely.
Colorado State last year. So it's going to be interesting to see if they go more run-oriented or if they're going to try to let Harris throw the ball, which is definitely not his strength. He doesn't. Not that he has a terrible completion percentage. He doesn't really throw it. Yeah, he doesn't really throw it.
His numbers this year aren't terrible. I think he's like 16 of 27
Yeah,
through right under 2 games.
Right.
For I think about 260 yards, a couple touchdowns, a couple turnovers. He's much better on the ground. He's much better on the ground. We're going to be looking at facing. It was going to be a spread offensive pass attack. So I would be more willing to bet we're going to look at a lot more read option.
Yeah, so like you'll
three
see
wide read option,
like what Auburn
plays.
runs,
Right?
Teams like that, A&M, even Alabama.
And the difference being is that Trayon Harris can run that offense.
You can.
But what will our defense do? What will Steele and Coach Bebe dial up to counteract this? You've got outstanding defensive line play going on right now. Arden Key and Lewis Neal look like grown men out there.
Lewis Neal has kind of been the unsung hero this year. He got all the accolades as a true freshman, which he deserved.
He absolutely deserves. He's 18 out there, and he's playing like a true tested junior. I mean, the guy, his first play from scrimmage as an LSU defensive end, sack, Mississippi State.
Yep.
And what a way to enter the season.
And also, Greg Gilmore has stepped his game up.
Absolutely.
He was a big recruit, and Lucky Joe has his accolades, so but Gilmore, I think, has played even better.
Right.
They're both playing good snaps. It's good to have a little bit of depth there at defensive tackle for sure.
We don't know much about Florida's wide receiver game. There hasn't been much talk about them.
But they are catching the ball. They actually have 3 guys that have put up numbers, and I think that'll be the interesting battle because LSU's had some big plays put up against them last week, and it's been concerning.
And the thing I think we have in our favor going up against Trayon Harris is those big plays probably aren't going to be as, I don't want to say consistent, but I don't think Trayon Harris will be able to make those big plays as easily as Will Greer would. Will Greer's built for that offense, and Florida losing him is a huge, huge shot in the foot, so to speak, against what Florida could have possibly done in Death Valley this weekend. The game plan has to change now from McElwain, and it's not going to be what he's best at doing. Trayon Harris is not the man for that offense, and that was shown early on in the season.
But he has proven he can win on the SEC, and he has proven that he can win in the SEC on the road.
We can't take that away from him. He is a year removed from the LSU Florida game last year at home.
On the road at Tennessee last year. It was the first start, actually.
That he did.
Didn't do much, but he managed the game, and that's what he does well. He does manage the game and doesn't turn the ball over.
We're going to be looking, like we said, we're going to be looking at a lot of spread option. Will the LSU defensive ends be able to contain and play in their lanes and play disciplined defense? And will Trey White, et cetera, be able to contain them long enough to allow our defensive line and our linebackers, Beckwith has looked great, allow them to do what they do. Speaking of defense, the man himself is scheduled to return this weekend.
Yeah, that's the rumor going around. Miles hasn't officially said anything, but the players have been saying he's ready to go.
They said he was ready to go against South Carolina, but I guess we didn't need to push the issue.
I don't know. Maybe they're trying to get him to game speed. But we'll see. Jalen Mills comes back. We're missing his leadership in the secondary. I mean, Ricky Jefferson's been good at times, but
he's been outstanding for his youth.
He has
been outstanding for his youth.
But they've had some breakdowns in the secondary, especially last week against the South Carolina team. Doesn't really throw it well, but hey, you're gonna have your ups and downs, and hopefully they learn some things. And then on the flip side of the ball, Florida, one of the best defenses in the country. Their secondary, you could say they compared to LSU. That's the strength of their secondary.
Absolutely.
Are they going to stack the box like South Carolina did and try to stop Leonard Fournette, especially with John David Moore out now? Fournette, that's he said it multiple times, that's the guy that he trusts and to go behind, and it'll be interesting to see what happens. Now, Fournette was so-called, unquote, slowed down or brought back down to earth, only averaging, 7 yards to carry, after Moore got hurt.
Still averaging over 200 a game for the season.
Right.
Brought back down to earth, only held to 150 yards on 20 carries and a touchdown.
Right. But it'll be interesting to see if LSU, I think they're going to try to, of course, run the ball like always, but it'll be interesting to see if they try to open it up a little bit. I guess that Florida secondary, which is a strange led by Vernon Hargraves, a guy that he's got first-round potential written all over him. Like perfect prototypical size for a cornerback. 5'11", not too tall, can turn on a dime. Guy can ball, and they got other guys back there that can play as well. And this is going to be the weekend where
if Hargraves is all over Doral, where we're going to have to see Malachi Dupree, and we're going to see that chemistry, which we already know is there between him and Harris. We're going to have to see guys like Trey Quinn and DR step up. Jeter is going to get some looks. He's got to. I don't know much about their linebacker core. Their secondary is their bread and butter on defense. If we can open up the pass game, we already know what that does for our run game.
Yeah, I personally want more Deshaun Smith. I trust Deshaun Smith's hands.
Well, Jeter's looked good.
He's been
what I've
surprised.
seen of Jeter has looked good. He really has. He looks trustworthy. It just seems like we finally have what we've been missing in Baton Rouge for a long time. Exnay the Mettenberger era, where I don't know how that team still has. I still don't understand how that team didn't win a national championship with the offense we had. But
because we didn't play defense.
It comes down to it. But looking at all the talent and looking at everything we've got now, Harris really seems like he's got this thing under control. I mean, he's got one turnover on the season.
Just one. Yeah, it wasn't really his fault.
Right. And that was on the offensive line.
Yeah, and I'm hoping the offensive line can show the improvement that they did last week in pass block, and that was the area of suspect, I think, for them this year.
Absolutely.
They've been great running.
They took Eastern Michigan too light, man. They really did.
They did. But also, is Hawkins supposed to be okay? I forgot to read up.
I haven't heard any brand new updates yet.
Yeah, we could use. I mean, not that KJ Malone's played bad. He's getting some good, valuable experience.
But going into the gauntlet of the SEC, we'd like to have all of our top guys healthy.
Right. But with that said, Ryan, what's your thoughts on the game?
Well, it opened when Greer was still the Florida quarterback. The line opened at 7.5. It moved down to 4.5. And then Greer being ruled out, I'm not sure where it moved to now.
It's still right at 7.
It's still right at 7. Yeah. I'm taking the Tigers in this one, of course. I mean, we're 5-0 now. We're going to move to 6-0, I believe, against Florida. I don't know if we cover. Florida's defense is their strong point, especially now that Greer's out and McElwain's offense is not going to be what he designed it to be. Not going to be as effective as he designed it to be. I'll be surprised if we cover. Florida and LSU is always a slugfest.
Right.
And, even though it is a Saturday night game in Death Valley, I got the Tigers in this one. I'm going to say Tigers 27, Florida 21.
Okay. Yeah, kind of thinking right around the same line here. I'm going to go 27-20, and it might be one of those games where, LSU maybe pulls it out in the end. I think it's going to be a true dogfight in typical LSU Florida fashion.
They're number 8 for a reason. They beat the brakes off of Ole Miss for a reason.
Absolutely.
These guys are pretty good.
And also, I want to see LSU's defense step up. They haven't been terrible, but
what have you done for me lately?
They haven't really lit it up. Their best performance was the first half against Mississippi State. And other than that, I'm not saying LSU's played cupcakes, but they have more to prove, and maybe those games LSU always seems to step it up in bigger games too. Maybe there's just
the bright lights.
Their way of coasting, and what you got Saturday night, Death Valley. I think the Tigers will be ready to go.
102,000. It's going to be live. It's going to be live on Saturday night, and I think the defense is going to feed off of that, knowing that they faced Trayon Harris last year, knowing what they're looking at. You can almost treat Trayon Harris the same way you would Leonard Fournette. You can stack the box and make him beat you with his arm, and that's what you honestly want to do with Trayon Harris, is make him beat you with his arm.
Right.
It's not his strength.
Exactly. Speaking of night games, Saints on a Thursday nighter this week, Ryan. I think the only thing that has people excited about this is that it's against a team that, depending if you're in Baton Rouge or New Orleans, is more hated than the University of Alabama, and that is the Atlanta Falcons.
Well,
but right now they're 5-0.
They're the Falcons right now. They're 5-0. They have one of the best running backs in the league currently this season in Devontae Freeman.
That nobody heard of before that.
Who?
In fact, there was the starter was hurt, and
Tavon Coleman.
Coleman, yeah.
And Tavon Coleman was highly regarded coming out of Indiana. He had over
and he's supposed to be back
almost 2,000 yards last year at Indiana, and he's supposed to be coming back
relatively
a couple weeks
soon. So you might see a two-headed monster with that.
They still have Julio Jones. They still have Matt Ryan. They still have Roddy White. And Hankerson has stepped into that
Harry Douglas role.
Yeah, the Harry Douglas. That's who I couldn't think of his name. Harry
Douglas. We played him earlier this year. Was it Carolina he's with now, or
I'm not sure? You got Jacob Tammy filling in the Tony Gonzalez role, who looked pretty good on Sunday. The Saints are backs against the wall. I mean, at 1-4, you can pretty much put the season in the bag as far as the playoffs are concerned. We would have to honestly have a miracle on Poitras Street
with the first pick in the 2016. Yeah, you always get the draft talk time now, right?
Yeah, it is. It is about that time. I think you can pretty much sign, seal, and deliver that this is the end of the Peyton Breeze era, as far as we knew it. This is the end. Breeze doesn't have the talent around him. Rob Ryan's defense absolutely sucks. Sean Payton doesn't look like the same coach that we had 3-4 years ago with the fire and the tenacity that he had on the sideline. He's like, oh, I'm content chewing my juicy fruit. I'm just going to throw a screen pass on 3rd and 25 because my offensive line has no discipline and they have false starts and holdings all day long. I mean, it's a dumpster fire, Matt. You said it earlier. It's a dumpster fire. How bad can this season get?
And the crazy thing is, I tried to watch the game closely on Sunday, and there actually were times where the line did well pass blocking. But our wide receivers can't get open, minus Cooks and Snead, who are both short guys. So basically, we have no tall red zone target.
We have no big threats downfield.
Ben Watson is our best red zone target.
Yeah.
That says a lot right there. I mean, the guy can play, but he's also, 35, 36 now? Josh Hill is,
untested, unproven.
Yeah. I mean, jury's still out on him. And then, of course, Coleman, bust. But then again, was he really the boom to begin with?
He wasn't. He has the potential. He has the intangibles. I mean,
I do like Snead.
6'5", 220.
I do like Snead. He reminds me of Lance Moore.
Absolutely. He's a poor man's Lance Moore. Absolutely. Yep. And he's your slot guy. He's your go-to. He's your guaranteed hands. He's your guaranteed, quick slot. Quick slant to beat the blitz on 2nd and 7. Kind of receiver. It's exactly what we need out of him, and he's become Mr. Reliable. 141 yards out of Ball State.
I think he was second in the NFL in receiving yards this week.
Yeah, I think so.
The only guy that had more, I believe, was DeAndre Hopkins on that Thursday night game against the Colts. I want to say, who's actually leading the league in receiving yards.
That says a lot, man. When you're Willie Snead out of Ball State and you're second in the league against Philly on the road and in receiving yards.
We should just trade away our first 3 draft picks every year because we always screw those up. It seems like other than maybe Brandon Cooks is good, but you need some help. They're just going to double team him.
And Peyton had the audacity to come out to the media and say Andrus Peat played well.
I thought he did at times, but he also made a lot of mistakes.
How many times did Fletcher Cox beat him and sack Drew Brees?
The mistake they made was putting him at left tackle. He's a right tackle.
Yeah, he is. He can't. But Fletcher Cox ate him up all game. He had like 3 good plays where he was actually able to protect Drew from Fletcher Cox. Yeah. Fletcher Cox had 2 sacks, a fumble, a forced fumble.
Teron Armstead kind of had the same performance last year too, and he eventually involved with it. I think Pete honestly needs to start at right tackle, and Streak needs to be benched, especially now, right? Streak let him get reps. I think he's got talent. I don't think he's going to be a left tackle. I think he's too slow for it, but I think he's a starting right tackle.
He could be.
And I think he'll develop and actually be good.
He could be.
We need to give him reps. That's just me.
We could take the 53-man roster and probably tell you 13 guys that shouldn't be on black and gold next year easily.
Ryan, you might be generous with that one right now. But
13? Were you going to say 20?
I'm sure we can find 20. But it's a crazy thing. The Saints did gut the roster. They have 6 new starters on defense. The rookies actually have played better than anybody.
He's looked great.
He's been up and down, but he's made good plays. Kihaha, same way. He's learning. But what do you call it? Swan and
Swan has been incredible
I liked him at Georgia, and I got my good buddy Tuck. He's like, I think you guys are gonna like him. He's not gonna like the world on fire, but he's solid. He's gonna learn.
He's consistent. He really is. Delvin Breaux is finally starting to show out.
Delvin Breaux is finally getting some calls going his way. Finally,
Brandon Browner. He had a couple good plays against Philly, but he's supposed to come in and
he's terrible.
He's garbage.
He's terrible.
And the reason Brandon Browner
is doing well though
is Brandon Browner in Seattle could play the 5-yard bump and run and hold you there because their defensive line was getting to the quarterback so fast that Brandon Browner's style of playing coverage worked.
Then you also had what's his name? That's back with Seattle now that was holding out the safety.
Cam Chancellor.
He
was the captain. He's the defensive quarterback.
Right.
But once you get past that 5 yards, and our defensive line, as we know, isn't doing crap.
Yeah, they get
Brandon
no pressure.
Browner gets burned. He's like 35.
And that's the crazy thing. Lewis and the 2 rookie corners have actually overall played okay with no defensive line pressure this year. That's actually kind of impressive.
5-6 seconds per route.
And that's what people like Anthony and Kihaha are doing as well.
Rob Ryan.
It starts in the trenches on both sides.
I honestly believe if we get blown out against Atlanta, Rob Ryan needs and should be canned. Effective immediately. Why is Dennis Allen in?
I was about to say,
Rob Ryan's not ready to be. They're not ready to pull the trigger on firing Rob Ryan. Why is Dennis Allen even here?
Also, and here's the the three disturbing stats. I call it the big boy football stats, Ryan.
Yeah.
I think you saw it earlier. So Saints are 29th in rushing, which it's typical. Peyton doesn't like to run the football, even though you have 2 running backs and you're paying $4.5 million a year each, not both, each. Then also the Saints are 30th in points given up. Now, most of that's defense, but at the same time, the offense has been anemic. They're averaging 20.5 points a game.
You go from 27 to 28 for the past
decade. Over a touchdown difference there.
For the past decade, we've averaged 27 to 28 a game, and we've been top 5 with Peyton and Drew Brees. And all of a sudden, now we're averaging right at 20.
Yeah,
and then from 5th to 30th in points scored on offense.
No. 30th in defensive points.
Well, what are we?
But we're going from 5th to 22nd though. Not that that's much better. Though.
We're still in the bottom 30%.
Right. And then of course the Saints are dead last in yards given up on defense at 32.
Surprise. Rob Ryan, good job.
I won't put it all on defense. I'll put about 80% of it. 12 to 20% I'll give it on the offense being anemic. But this is right. It's dumpster fire, Ryan. That's the easiest way to explain it.
The
whole team is dumpster fire. Coaching staff, GM, 53 men. I mean, the best players, Ryan, are rookies pretty much.
Send Peyton to Indianapolis. Let him get a championship with luck. Drew Brees. There's been talk of already benching him, but what are we going to do with him next season if he doesn't play? If he doesn't show that he can still play?
That's the thing. Even if you trade him or cut him, you're still going to eat that cap money.
It's $30 million. That's against the cap.
That's not how it works. A lot of people don't realize. Don't just trade him. You get all the cap relief. That's not how it works. You're still on. You're basically giving the team Drew Brees for free. You might get a draft pick or something for it, but you still got to eat the salary.
And where would he go right now? Like, this is the end of an era. Think about it. Drew Brees is 35, 33, 35. Peyton Manning's 38. Brady's like 37. Like,
Manning's adjusted his game. He knows he doesn't really have the long ball. And
Eli's we're 30. Eli's 3 years older than us, so Eli's 34, 33. Like, an era is changing in football, and all of the fantastic pocket passer quarterbacks are now seasons away from retiring.
Even Aaron Rodgers is over 30.
Yeah, Aaron Rodgers was what?
31.
He's a year older than us. Yeah,
he's a year older.
So,
well, he's playing like he's 25 though.
I mean, he's got a great offensive line. He's got great wide receivers. He's got a cannon arm, and he's mobile. He's smart and he's mobile.
Yep.
Once the rest of the elite quarterbacks that are playing right now are gone, the Packers are going to be – they should be running away with the field. And there's nobody else in the NFL who has a quarterback who's even close to Aaron Rodgers.
And the thing is –
aside from the other 3 that I named.
And also, even though Rodgers is his age, he's able to play like he's 26 because he sat out the first 3 or 4 years behind Favre. He's got the young legs to go. And he learned from one of the best in the game.
Sure. He might lead the NFL in history in interceptions thrown, but he also played long enough to raise a child from birth to high school while he's an NFL starting quarterback. He played like 18, 19 years.
Yeah. But that's it, Ryan. What are your thoughts on the Saints-Falcons this week?
I'm starting Matt Ryan this week, as I've started him every week except the first one, because Drew Brees is on my bench. Falcons, 38. Saints, 17.
Woo! When's the last time the Saints been blown out by 21 at home? That's
on Thursday night football.
On Thursday, yeah, prime time. Usually where they shine.
Dan Quinn has turned around Atlanta's defense. They won the game on Sunday on a pick 6 in overtime. Robert Alford from right here in Louisiana, Southeastern Louisiana University, pick 6 against Kirk Cousins, took it to the house, and won the game in overtime. Atlanta's defense has not changed many people, but they changed schematics. And Dan Quinn, who was Seattle's defensive coordinator for their back-to-back Super Bowl runs, is now their head coach. Atlanta could honestly be a contender for the NFC Championship.
Yeah,
5-0. They've got a great defense. They've got a great quarterback in Matt Ryan. They've got one of the best wide receivers to play the game in Julio Jones. And then Devontae Freeman comes out of nowhere and starts running rampant all over kids. It's not going to be pretty on Thursday night. Even with the power of the Superdome, man, whatever. I have lost all faith in the Saints, and I'm about 2 games away from breaking out the Rouse's brown paper bag. Yep. Go ahead, Matt.
Ryan pretty much said what's on a lot of people's mind. Wow, I got to follow that. But,
sorry, man.
Yeah. Yeah, the Saints pretty much are not going to do much this year, Ron. I mean, that's just the.
I'll be happy if we go 6-10.
Hey, it does rhyme with the song, right? When the Saints go 6-10. But
oh, we know that song for so many years, man.
yeah, we really do. Oh, the dick hairs. But you know what? Call me crazy. I think the Saints pull it off this week. I think we pull it off this week. It's because it's Saints Falcons. It doesn't matter what the record's this game. I'm going Saints 31-27. We may win only 4 games this year, but you know what?
2 of them are going to be in
But
Atlanta.
Ryan Blanchard and I don't agree on much with the Saints, but we both said the Saints are going to beat the Falcons twice. And the Falcons are still going to go like 13.
I just don't. I don't.
That's just what the Saints do. That's just what they do.
I don't see us having any even remote shot.
That's why.
I know, and I get that. But realistically speaking, DeMarco Murray hadn't put up more than 30 yards the entire season. Through 4 games, he hadn't put up 30 yards in the entire season, minus 1. I think 1 run he had for like 33 yards or something. On the season, he had like 50-something yards. Against the Saints, he puts up 80-something yards and a touchdown. We give up 300 yards in the first half to the Eagles and Chip Kelly's high school spread offense that runs 120 plays a game. I mean, come on. Like, Rob Ryan, go back to Miss Mays. You still got a bar tab running. Go drink and lead the defense to finish out.
You better pay that bar
Just
tab.
walk. Just leave. Leave. Your defensive scheme is garbage. You have never been in the top 50% in turnovers in your career as a defensive coordinator. Goodbye. Lighting the dumpster on fire. And I'll be the first one to light it.
I'll go buy the kerosene for you.
And I'm not buying another jersey until they draft another LSU player. So hopefully in the 2017 draft, when we tank again, they're going to be suspect.
Well,
but it still won't matter because we won't have an offensive line to block for
I
us.
was going to say we need some interior linemen.
Jesus Christ.
Unger's played good, but you can't help the other 4 guys.
I mean, what do you want him to do? You want him to tie himself to all?
I'll say
nothing we can do.
I will say that's probably the best trade that Mickey Loomis has made. We've gotten the better end of that deal.
Yeah,
we got
Jimmy sucks.
We got a potential decent linebacker, and we got a Pro Bowl center who, well, probably won't get the accolades because the rest of his line is awful. But that's it. Let's get the rapid fire
before the fire catches us.
We'll go real quick on the Michigan State. It's at Ann Arbor. And Michigan is actually 7-point favorite.
Michigan should be a 7-point favorite. They've gone 12 straight quarters without giving up a single point.
Yeah, the defense.
They shut out Northwestern. I got an argument on Twitter with an Ohio State fan the other day. I think it was yesterday on my day off. Thanks, Columbus. About how Ezekiel Elliott is not better than Leonard Fournette. They play against high school teams, and when they have to play the Maize and Blue, they're going to get embarrassed. The Maize and Blue are for real this year. Expect the Maize and Blue to make a run at the college football playoff.
They only lost to Utah, who's ranked number 4 right now.
I thought Michigan's undefeated.
No, they lost.
Okay.
They lost by a touchdown to Utah on the road, who's going to win the Pac-12.
Yeah, they look damn good. They look damn good all around too. But I got the Maize and Blue in this one. I got them by 10. I don't think Michigan State can keep up with them because Michigan is a complete team.
I'm going to see if Michigan can do it against a quality opponent. I'm going Sparty on the road this week. That's my upset special this week. I'm going Sparty.
You're always pro Izzo, though.
I like Michigan, too.
I know.
I got the – well, it's not right. I got the pennants. So I got both their pennants, believe it or not. No, I like Big Blue, too.
This isn't basketball, man.
Oh, God, they blew it up.
I know.
But this is the and I actually do think Michigan's a great team. This is the prove-it game, and if they get it past this game, forget Ohio State. Michigan State, I think they're the top 2 teams.
I believe this is the rebirth of the Maize and Blue of the 90s that we knew so well.
And they're just getting started, dude.
Yeah. This is what, the 6th game under Harbaugh?
Yeah, because I think they're 4-1, I believe.
Yeah, because we're
5-1. No, they're 5. Yeah, so
it's week 7. It's week 7.
I believe they're 5-1.
Damn. But yeah, the Maize and Blue are for real this year.
Anyway, now the battle for who probably goes to the Poulan Weed Eater Independence Bowl.
Poulan.
Auburn goes to Kentucky, and I can't think of it. Actually, take it back. Auburn's a 2-point favorite in that game.
How?
I don't know.
In Lexington.
Kentucky's only lost is to a Florida team that's 5-0.
If you find a bookie, put your money down on the Wildcats. The Wildcats are they're for real this year, and it's hard to say that about Kentucky football because, like you said, the only loss they have this year is against the undefeated Florida team who's got one of the best defenses in the nation. I've got Kentucky here. I still think there's a dumpster fire in Auburn, and with the loss of Duke Williams he's been dismissed from the team. I mean, who else do you have?
Yeah.
Auburn's only weapons were Jeremy Johnson and Duke Williams, and Jeremy Johnson has proven that he's a terrible quarterback. Duke Williams ain't even on the team anymore, so who do you go to? Artis Payne is in Carolina now. You don't have a running back.
Right.
You know, what do you do? No. Kentucky.
Yeah, I don't even know why Kentucky's an underdog. I think Kentucky. Especially
like if I knew where to legally place bets on that game, I would put a $10, $15 bet just to easily make money.
Vegas.
I mean, well, sorry, I'm not flying. I'm not spending $300 to make 20.
Ole Miss goes onto the road against a surprisingly 5-0 Memphis.
I've seen a couple Memphis games on Thursday nights.
They can score.
They can score, and they score quick, and they score
This game,
a lot.
if anything, will be exciting to see. Might be the first one to score 60 in this.
This might be like a Baylor TCU type matchup.
Yeah, SEC's version of that.
I think Laquan Treadwell is too much for a Conference USA team to handle, but I would not be surprised if Memphis makes this one extremely interesting.
Especially considering it's an 11 a.m. kickoff.
And it's in Memphis.
It's in Memphis, yep.
I would not be surprised if this thing goes down to the wire. I just think Chad Kelly and Laquan Treadwell are too much. I've got Ole Miss, and I've got Ole Miss by maybe 10.
Yeah, I think Memphis can hang one, but I think Ole Miss just has too much firepower. I'm going to go with the Rebels.
It's too much.
I mean, they're a team that's still an SEC contender. You know, when they lost it, they got the butts whipped against Florida. But Missouri goes to Chubless, Georgia now. Both 4-2. Both Georgia's fighting the injury bug. Missouri's just they're 4-2, but they potentially could be the most overrated 4-2 team. Florida held them to 3 points. They do have a good defense though.
That's why I'm picking Georgia in this one because they're playing in Athens.
Yeah.
2, there's this guy on Georgia by the name of Sony Michel, who's pretty much a year behind Nick Chubb and just as good as Nick Chubb was last year.
That's one thing Georgia does. They plug the running backs in. They can run.
This guy's next man up. Mizzou's second-string quarterback because Matty Mock is still suspended. I don't think he's going to be enough in Athens. I've got Georgia.
Yeah, I got Georgia big in this one. I don't think Missouri has some lost chance to kind of this one.
Missouri's season is pretty much done.
That Rick needs a win.
Yeah.
He needs one bad.
They
can still win the East, but Rick needs LSU to do him a favor, and then he's got to win the world's largest outdoor cocktail party.
That's true.
They got to run
battle between the hedges.
I mean, we'll see what happens. Anyway, the last game on the bill is, of course, the game everybody's pulling for the asteroid to hit, but Alabama goes to Aggie Land.
I'm actually not pulling for an asteroid to hit this one.
I am.
Because before A&M joined the SEC, I actually kind of liked them. They were like the little sister school in Texas because everybody hates UT. They're just embarrassing. But I like Charlie Strong now, so my opinion of UT's changed. Anyway, I digress.
I like that they beat Oklahoma. That was pretty awesome.
I know, right? What a good game. I like who's your boy? Who's under center? Kyle Allen. Kyle Allen
really improved.
I like this guy in A&M. He's not the next coming of Manziel because he actually has an arm. This guy can throw the ball, and Sumlin's spread offense. I would not be surprised at all. I'm actually thinking that this is going to happen, that Bama comes out of there with their second loss of the season.
It's very –
I don't think – Chavis knows how to stop the run. He doesn't have as great a talent as he had in Baton Rouge, but we already know from the however long he spent in Baton Rouge that he can stop the run.
They're going to make Coker beat him.
That's what I was co-host for 107 shows. Derrick Henry can't be the reason Alabama wins. Let me rephrase that so it makes sense. A&M has to make Bama one-dimensional. If they can eliminate Derrick Henry, which is kind of difficult to do. That's like saying eliminating Leonard Fournette. If they can force him to have 50, 60, 70 yards and make Coker win it with his arm, A&M's got a serious, serious chance to win this game. Bama's probably, a 3-5-point favorite on the road?
Go between them.
4 points.
That's a pretty good guess, actually.
Because Bama got beat by Ole Miss, gave up 43, 48.
43
at home, and you're looking at another high-power offense. You're looking at another very high-power offense that could, in the blink of an eye, be up 21-0. And we saw what happened a couple of years ago with Manziel, and Bama ends up coming back and win. if they can hold Derrick Henry in check, I think A&M comes out of leaves their home stadium. I was going to say comes out of College Station. It's not like they're going anywhere. I think A&M has a real solid chance to win this game if they can keep Derrick Henry in check.
So I'm guessing you're taking A&M.
Yep.
All right.
I'm going with A&M.
Yeah. Me, I'm still waiting for A&M to prove it. They also have benefited pretty much from playing at home every game this year in a way. The first they played away has been Cowboy Stadium.
That's true.
Against Arkansas, a team that should have beat A&M.
Team that almost beat Bama last week.
Yeah, team that almost beat out. LSU better not sleep on Arkansas, that's for sure. Although I don't think we'll go after last year.
There'll be blood on the water for that game.
Yeah, and for Saban, their season's on the line here. They got to keep winning to stay have any chance of hope for to get anything. Yeah.
Anything.
Otherwise, they're going to one of the pre-New Year's Florida, Atlanta type of bowls and
Outback, Capital One, where they used to be.
Good Outback in the Citrus, but anyway, same concept.
Right. Whatever.
It's actually weird. Like, Capital One's not a sponsor of the Orange Bowl. It's getting out of control. Losing track of all this crap.
It always changes.
But I don't know why. I'm going to say Alabama wins. But I'm going to say it's not because of A&M. I think usually I don't do this, but I'm going to say because of the officials. I don't know who the crew is, but I just have this feeling that A&M's going to get screwed.
Call.
I think they're going to get screwed.
They always get. I mean, that just.
I mean, I really hate saying that, but we've seen it so many times.
Scratch their heads.
But I'll tell you what, this is the chance for Chavis to really prove it that A&M's defense has improved under him, which at times they actually have played pretty well.
A lot better.
But like you said, if they can stop the run, they have a real shot. It's on the road, and they could do America a favor here that if they beat Alabama could really go into a tailspin that will probably make the rest of the country happy. And that includes all 50 states because everybody in their own state hates it.
Everybody hates Alabama. Even Alabama hates Alabama.
Their own fans hate it. I'm thinking LSU fans hate LSU too. Or some of them. They're all on Tiger Dog.
Yeah, those are called ULL fans.
But speaking of cheaters.
I mean, let's just go.
Bunch of cheaters.
2011 season vacated.
Fix it.
Fixing ACT score.
Not only fixing ACT score, right? They fixed about half of the answers on the test. Allegedly, of course.
Allegedly.
That's pretty impressive.
I mean, but how do you do that? How do you fix an ACT?
And Ryan, they cheating and still didn't help them because they lost about 5 touchdowns to Lock Tech. Get over it.
Probably the season they wanted to vacate.
Yeah. Get over it. La Tech's the second best school in the state. You're not. Come on, we can do all that there. Yeah, that's all I got, Ryan.
Yeah, that's pretty much all I got. Tigers win. Saints lose.
Saints win.
Bama loses. Kyle Allen goes for 375 and 4 touchdowns.
Asteroid.
Speaking of asteroid, real quick, Astros had an asteroid after a 4-run lead in the 7th.
Speaking of gas can, yeah.
Disastro bullpen. We'll see what happens tomorrow. Tomorrow, game 5 in Kansas City. Yikes. Yep. Let's go Astros.
We shall see. We'll see if
we believe.
They pull an anti-choke. We'll see for sure. But that said, night, America.
Good night, America. Go Tigers.